the small things.
I love that damn jam. That's awesome. We were just talking about college. That reminds me of college.
This reminds you of college?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm a little older than you.
Oh my goodness. It's a good jam no matter what time in your life you're at, like when it came out. It's a good jam, and it still is today. I've seen Blink-182 I don't know how many times. So grateful for that. But well, no matter how many times you see them, it comes on. You jam out to it. Welcome into Sports with Balls, everybody. Sports SWB on VYPE with VYPE. We're with you. Jeff Michael, Lauren Leal here on a Monday night Christian's Tailgate. I'm still trying to find. There's the show. Got it. I hear myself though.
Is that me?
I think that might be you, Jeff Michael.
My bad.
All good.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, welcome into the show. It's going to be a quick, fast-paced one, as we like to keep it, but your son has something special tonight.
Yeah, he's got a book fair. He loves to go to the book fair, so this is the first one this year. And the first time since COVID you're allowed to be in the schools.
Really?
So the teachers will be there, parents will be there.
He hasn't been to school?
No, like the parent, like I'm allowed to go in there, and they're having a book fair where people are allowed to walk around and go see the teachers and stuff like that. Like last year, even pre-K, I wasn't able to go into the school. In kindergarten, obviously last year wasn't able to go in, and now this year you can go into, you get to see the teacher, buy books and stuff like that.
Because I thought you went and had lunch with him the other day.
Yeah, that was the first time I was actually in his school. I've never been in there before.
Wow.
Because they won't let you in. It's all locked up.
That's crazy.
Yep. That's how it goes now.
Wow. Well, let's get this going, get this show on the road so y'all can make it to that book fair over there. And, okay, so tonight, guys, our high school spotlight is brought to you by VYPE, of course. They do all the production here. And if you want any high school sports on any scores or news on high school sports in Texas, all of Texas and the lower region of the U.S., definitely go to VYPE Media and check them out. That's, once again, that is VYPE.com. All right, we were just talking off camera a minute ago about the high school football playoffs. They had the first round this weekend. There were some big upsets. Some, crazy explosive teams as usual, Katy, Westlake, the list goes on and on of those powerhouses. But here are some of the other ones that took place this weekend. Number 1 seed Oscar Smith knocked out number 8 Crosby, 77-7 on Thursday. And then we have some other ones. Rapids 21-19 victory over number 4 Thomas Dale. Number 3 Manchester over Ocean Lakes 59-7. I mean, those are some of the big ones. But if you want to check out some more of the scores, go to VYPE Media or just VYPE.com, and there you can get your high school news.
High school playoffs, man. 5A, 6A. Like in Texas, at least, there's not a whole lot better.
Oh, no, not at all.
It is
the best.
High school
the
football.
Best.
And you know how sports has changed and grown over the years so much that high school football now is almost like college football was, say, 15, 20 years ago. These kids are big and they are good, like really good.
No doubt.
Unless you're trying to fake a team and then try to play the number 1 team.
What was that school called? I completely forgot about that already.
Sycamore.
Bishop Sycamore.
Bishop Sycamore, a bunch of 25-year-olds.
Oh, my goodness.
And that goes to show you, like, a bunch of 25-year-olds that thought they could still play football, played a top-ranked high school football team and got destroyed.
Jeff Michael and the basketball court.
I know. Back still hurts.
Sorry, had to. Oh, yeah, how's your back?
It's okay.
You seem to be moving
I'm actually
fine.
going to a chiropractor tomorrow, so we'll see. Hopefully they can take some x-rays, pop it, and maybe things will be back to normal. I haven't been back to the gym in a week. But, whatever. It is what it is.
Hey, you're progressing with your back feeling good. That's all that matters.
All right, today's show brought to you by Smarter Mortgage and David Carrier. I know he's watching right now. What's going on, David? Give him a call at 281-650-0648. Mention SWB. Get a free quote ASAP. He's got a pocket full of money. He's ready to give it to you to buy your home, refinance your home, whatever you want to do. David's got it. Here's his face right somewhere right here. But there you go. Hey, Tiger King's back. Joe Exotic.
But isn't someone playing him?
No, so it's the guys that bought out his Tiger.
I thought it was
Tiger area.
Tiger Farm.
Tiger Farm. I don't know what you call it, but he's in jail. But now he's trying to team up with that dude Jeff something. And this thing is so wild. I thought that season 2 would be stupid, but now I see the preview for it on Netflix. It looks fantastic. Following these people around is television gold. Like, wow. Joe Exotic and Tiger King, because of that girl, Carol Baskin. We all know she killed her husband. Like, if you see that backstory, he picked this woman up on the side of the road when she was like 18, 19 years old. On the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. And then she never left him, and then all of a sudden he died. And he divorced his wife because of her.
So I've never heard the story because I didn't continue watching this season.
So
I only watched one episode, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot. I love animals. Like, what? I couldn't. Oh,
you got to get through the whole thing. It's full of murder, animals,
but the thing
tigers.
Is,
it's television gold. It's television gold.
Does Cole like it?
I won't let him watch.
But there was a Tiger King remake.
Kevin Anthony.
What'd he say?
I can't repeat it on air, but it's pretty good. What's up, David?
All I see is who dat.
Oh. But so Carol Baskin, Tiger King, Joe Exotic, that's all coming back on Netflix. It's awesome. Another big story of the year that just broke too, Britney Spears has freed herself.
Free!
Dude, all the t-shirts worked. Britney Spears
free Britney. She is out. Yes. That definitely deserves.
I never ever knew what this whole thing was about, except for that Britney Spears was around, and like her dad had control of a lot of her stuff. I think whatever
made her take a bunch of medicines every single day to kind of mess with her mind. Had control of her money.
She's definitely out there. I'd still marry her though. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, Ashley got some competition.
Oh, Cole's over there like, yeah. I mean, Britney still got the looks, I think, but she's married now, I believe, right?
I think so.
Engaged or married or something.
And I think she may be on a Vegas tour coming up pretty soon. I mean, she still can sing, she still can dance, she still can do it all. So
sometimes on her Instagram though, she's not sober. I'm sorry, she is not sober.
Well, I think anyways, they dive into that in like the Netflix series and the Hulu series and stuff, and why she wears the colors, because the fans, she's like basically trying to say, help me with the colors that she wears. During this whole like thing, so that's pretty crazy in itself.
That's another person that's made for television.
Wait, is this Smarter Mortgage, Britney Spears?
No, what? Smarter? No, I was just today.
Smarter
Mortgage. I was just doing a little entertainment section from the beginning because all these things are crazy. But we're gonna do the other Tiger Woods here in a minute.
Okay.
But let's go, guys. Let's run.
What do you want to run into?
Rundown.
All right, let's do the rundown. Brought to you by Hybrid Technologies Group. When it comes to reliability, they're the ones you need on phones, cable services, surveillance cameras, and cloud services. Call Roy Stanton at 832-336-1201. He'll hook you up with all of these services. Like I said, it is Hybrid Technologies Group. Okay, let's get into the first rundown, and it is all about the Los Angeles Rams. They are playing the 49ers tonight, but there are stories, of course, within the game itself and within the Rams organization in OBJ. It broke while we were on radio this week. Very exciting stuff. Yeah. He got picked up by the Rams, which no one expected that at all. It was a quiet negotiation until it came out, really. We thought it was going to be the Packers, the Saints, maybe New England Patriots. That's where you wanted him to go. But he's there 1 year, up to $4.5 million deal, heavily dependent on team-driven postseason incentives for him to hit that $4.5 million. And I saw some sources say he's looking as a punt returner tonight.
Yeah, what? The craziest thing that happened was on that same day, on Friday, while we were on air, Robert Woods tore his ACL in practice.
Right.
Continued practicing, whatever, and that's the number 2 wide receiver, or was the number 2 wide receiver for the Rams. Now he goes down. OBJ's immediately catapulted into a number 2 wide receiver for the LA Rams. That couldn't have worked out better for them. Terrible for Robert Woods, because even in his press conference afterwards, he didn't even say that anything was wrong. And then you find out later that he tore his ACL out for the season. Like, just ironic that they had signed OBJ. I have mixed emotions about this. I think him being catapulted to number 2 spot is interesting, because OBJ demands the ball. So this might be a curse for him, demanding the ball that much, because right now he's right under Cooper Kupp, who leads the National Football League in almost every single receiving category. And we're going to see how he performs. What if he doesn't do well?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, this guy's been, put up such a controversial effort to move teams, And now he's immediately catapulted because Van Jefferson's their third wide receiver, and he's better than he is.
Well, we questioned OBJ going to the Rams in the first place, or any locker room for that matter, because he's going to want as many touches as he can get. And then what's the atmosphere, the vibe going to be in the locker room? Is he going to be a cancer, or is he going to be more motivating? Which I think he'd do. But something that I did hear is a bunch of the players were who wanted OBJ and kind of got him there. And so, the guys that are on the team in the Los Angeles Rams, they want him in that position. They want him to be there. So it's just a matter of Stafford connecting with him.
Yeah, and Von Miller, I don't know if he's going to play tonight or not. They said some stuff this afternoon about Von Miller that makes me think he might not. Something to the point of we'll play him when he's ready. So I don't know if Von Miller is going to be in there. But, man, L.A. has got a star-studded group. I mean, LA looks good, but the NFL has been wild.
We will also, speaking of the Rams too, sorry, I was just going to say Von Miller will have his debut tonight, so we'll get to see what he looks like out there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They said, we're going to see what he looks like, and, they're only going to play him if he's ready. So we'll see if Von Miller gets out there. But the star-studded LA Rams take the field tonight. It'll be interesting. The backstories to them, just everything that's going on in the NFL. You think star-studded teams would be winning. Well, they're not winning as often as they probably should be. And we'll get into our NFL here in a little bit.
Oh, my gosh. From last week to this weekend, what is going on?
I sat there and said, this week's games, the lineup looked incredible. I was like, wow. But, whoa.
A draw. I wasn't expecting that either.
Yeah,
we saw that for the first time this season.
An NFL player didn't even know you could tie in the NFL.
I know, right? You can exactly.
Only the Lions
got the ball.
And only the Lions would do that.
And I was cheering for the Lions, to get their first one of the season. They play really hard ball, but it just did not go well.
The end of that game was fumble, interception, fumble. It was crazy. Nobody wanted to score. It was only the Lions' way that they're now 0-7 or 0-8 with a tie. Incredible.
Yeah. And I've been looking at these comments. Thanks so much for all the compliments. But what did I say? I was from Louisiana.
I don't know.
David Carrier said, "Hey, we are both from Louisiana." Lauren Leal.
I think he's talking. Maybe he's talking about him and Kevin.
Okay, gotcha. All right, let's move on to our next rundown, brought to you by Hybrid Technologies Group, and that is the Oklahoma Sooners falling to the Baylor Bears. 27-14. I know, my brother, if you're out there listening to this, you are not happy because it's the first loss of the season for OU.
It's way bigger.
Fans stormed the field
before the game was over.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was wild.
Statement win for Baylor.
It was definitely a statement win for their season this year. The bigger story behind this is OU is now out of the playoff race. Unless something absolutely insane happens, that was OU's shot to, put their stake down and say, hey, look, we're part of the Big Four and we're going to get in there. But they lost to Baylor, and they're pretty much out of it now. And man, if you were a Baylor fan on Saturday, I had so many people on Facebook that I'm friends with that are from Oklahoma, and they were crushed.
My family's from Oklahoma. I can imagine. I didn't really get to talk to them, but yeah. And I was going to say, as far as OU this season, yeah, they were undefeated until this week. But with each game, I feel like they were kind of sliding by, except for the shootout, because that really was a shootout.
That was a great game.
But I feel like Oklahoma has been they're winning, but not by a lot.
Yeah, the shootout was different and probably their best game. And then obviously they got beat by Baylor. And then, on top of it, they beat a Texas team, but Texas turned around and got beat by Kansas this weekend.
Oh.
So, Baylor, their chance to get
Texas is a different story.
Oklahoma's chances to get into the playoffs are finished with that loss. And even with the close game, I figured it was going to be difficult. But good win for Baylor. Great for their fans. They stormed the field with 1 second left, which was interesting. It took another 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get the fans off the field. And then on top of it, instead of kneeling down, Baylor kicked a field goal. Just to throw it in their face. I get it. It was a points differential that they wanted to win by because of the Big 12 championship. So I understand that. But, what a shot in the face. They waited 15 minutes to get the fans off the field.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, that was brutal. Look, I'm not a Baylor fan or an OU fan, so it was kind of funny to me. But, that was brutal. to kick the field goal. All he had to do was kneel down. They already won the game. So
you touched about OU and moving forward for the rest of the season. Well, next on the list for Baylor is Kansas State and Texas Tech. That's who they have left to play. All right, let's get to a big one that is here, a hot topic in Houston, of course, but kind of all over the nation if you're in need of a shortstop. And Carlos Correa. He is our next rundown because I didn't see this until you messaged it. Took down his Astro stuff on his Twitter. However, he's still in his jersey for the Houston Astros, and he still has his background as the Houston Astros, but nothing in the subject line.
Yeah, he took down a lot of his Astro stuff on there. There were rumors circulating today that he has signed. Well, finalizing a deal with Detroit. I put up that he's already in talks with the Yankees, which he was up until you saw that blast about Derek Jeter. In his comments about how Derek Jeter didn't deserve his World Series rings. That's a whole other drama in general. So now I don't know if the New York Yankees are his top destination or if the Yankees want to go down that road just because of the rivalry between the Astros and the Yankees. I don't know how Yankees fans would accept him. I'm sure if he plays well, they do. But if he plays bad, New York is the worst place to be media-wise if you don't play good.
That's so weird because I think about this right now, and I'm just thinking okay, have you ever seen a guy, you're watching an MLB game and you see a guy come that's traded to you and you boo him whenever he goes to the plate? Have you ever seen that? I don't know if I have.
No.
And that could be a possible first.
If he goes to play for New York, they're gonna. Well, they might boo the first couple of games, and then he'll hit a home run, start hitting 360, and do an incredible play at shortstop, and then he's gonna winning cures all.
It sure does.
Now, if he gets injured, only plays 60 games, and bats 240 and only hits 10 home runs, the New York media will just blast him. It's fair or foul there, and Correa's been injured. People forget that because of his incredible season last year.
Well, people also forget that he did not perform well in the playoffs this year, especially the World Series. You can say what you will about the White Sox and the Red Sox, but whenever they did face the Atlanta Braves, he maybe had, 2 hits?
Yeah, he didn't do real well. Neither did the whole Astros team, really.
Yeah. They went to sleep. They said good night.
But it's an interesting take on where he's going this year. You've got the Yankees floating around. You've got Detroit now floating around. I mean, this was on a couple of people's blue check Twitters that he had signed or is signing with Detroit, in which we know A.J. Hinch is the head coach over there. So it would make a little bit of sense if he did go there, but I doubt that. That's a terrible city to live for him and his wife and his newborn kid. I'm sorry if you're from Detroit. I really am, but man, it's not the best place in the world to go. Now, if Verlander ends up back there where he originally said he wanted to go, you get Carlos Correa, maybe a couple of more pieces. Maybe they got a decent team.
What did I say, Jeff? Do you remember this, Enrique?
I probably don't.
Detroit?
A couple weeks ago, when we were talking about Carlos Correa, right when the World Series ended, it was around that time. And I said, what if there was some sort of deal with Carlos Correa and Justin Verlander went to Detroit, because we all know Verlander wants to end there anyways. Yep. And in exchange for them getting some sort of draft picks, because Astros don't really have much capital. They don't. They've been in the World Series for so many times that they're so far down on the list. That would be a way to get them back in the mix in the top, to get some of those top draft picks. I don't know. I said that a while ago. If they did some sort of Verlander Correa thing up there, which I don't want.
Yeah,
I don't want.
It's going to be interesting. The whole baseball offseason is about to get real interesting.
I'm excited for it.
Well, I mean, I don't know if too many people are excited for this, and I'm sure Lauren will get into it.
Let's hit parlays into it for a minute. The CBA, December 1st. My birthday is whenever this could happen. But, Jeff, you have all of the dates of what this means and how they're going to move forward.
Yeah, so the CBA takes effect. The current CBA runs out on December 1st. The owners will lock out the players if there's no CBA agreement or extension on December the 2nd. The winter meetings start December 6th through the 9th. Rule 5 draft is December 9th, right after the winter meetings. Arbitration numbers exchanged on January 14th. Arbitration hearings on February 1st and 2nd. Pitchers and catchers are supposed to report by February 14th. But the big date on this is the owners will lock out the players if there's no agreement or extension by December 2nd. That is quick.
Mm-hmm.
That is 2 weeks away. For those of y'all that didn't know that. And you wonder if Carlos Correa and these other big agents are going to sign before the CBA runs out or after. I don't know if Correa is waiting on that, and that's going to play a big role in all this.
Mm-hmm. And then you said, did you get into the arbitration for moving forward after that?
No.
So here, okay, the CBA. The last time this happened, when was the last CBA ruling?
I'd have to look.
90s, 80s. Anyways, the players could potentially go on strike, and we don't want that. No one wants that, right? We want to see baseball. But the thing is, on my take on it is the fact that we kind of already had it without a dog in the fight with the pandemic. We saw the players not play, obviously not on the field. We saw the season get completely canceled. So no one really wants that. So there's going to be some sort of agreement, I think, in order to play baseball next year.
December 1st, 2016. So we're looking at it.
16.
It was a 5-year. It was a 5-year CBA agreement. And CBA
I'm just wondering when the last strike was.
Collective bargaining agreement, for those of y'all that didn't know.
Yeah.
There's so many details in this that we don't have time. We could probably do a whole show on it, but there's a lot. Google it if you don't know what it is, but it's the owners and the players trying to reach an agreement on all sorts of stuff.
Sorry. Hey, Danny Sims from Arkansas. Kevin Anthony says hello from Beltway 8 traffic.
Yeah.
Hey.
I love it. For those of y'all that thought the Houston Astros didn't pay a lot, man, they paid $209 million last year in payroll, which was more than the Yankees paid. They were 9th in payroll last year. It's incredible, the stats that go on with all the Astros and their money and everything. It's going to be crazy. You don't want a lockout.
No.
And Scott Boras, we brought this up on the show on Thursday. Scott Boras came out this past week, who's the agent for a ton of high hitters in baseball, saying that they've got to change the system as far as the teams that are tanking. Now, we all know, being from Houston, the Houston Astros use that system perfectly. After 3 100-loss seasons, they got a bunch of draft picks. They use them to get Correa, to get Bregman, to get a lot of the players you see out there now and build them up. And so a lot of people are using that tanking system to get draft picks and to build their teams. Scott Boras is saying we shouldn't benefit the losing teams. They're basically saying tanking is okay. It's good to tank because, if 5 years from now your team will be okay, but it's bad for baseball. It makes baseball not worth watching because those teams aren't competitive.
We discussed too the player side of it. New guys coming into the locker room and they're like, wait, what's going on? Am I not? And guys can't get comfortable in the locker room because they're going to be traded like that.
Yeah, exactly. And the rookies, it's really bad for the rookies. They don't know how their contracts are going to end up. The Atlanta Braves won the World Series from tanking because teams that started to tank traded their players off to Atlanta. Atlanta ended up with the 3rd best baseball record after the trade deadline and won the World Series.
In your face, Atlanta, of course, that didn't want the All-Star game there. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's another note of that.
But yeah, so that's kind of what Scott Boras was getting into about how it's not fair to a lot of these teams that are trying, they had 4 players. They traded for 4 players that basically won them the World Series. Like all their star players were their 3 star players in the playoffs were all traded at the deadline.
That's crazy.
And that's what Scott Boras was getting into. It's kind of unfair to these young players, to the other teams that are making things work. The CBA is going to be very, very interesting. Like I said, the talks start here pretty soon, and you'll find out if there's a lockout or an extension by December 2nd.
All right. That's the baseball news we got for right now until we have Carlos Correa, Corey Seager, some of the other big names that signed 2 places, and we'll see if they can get it done by December 1st, December 2nd of the CBA. All right, now we got some football to get into because we got a game tonight, and we had loads of games yesterday.
Yeah, real quick, I know David Carey's on here. There's a couple of golf guys on here. I'm huge golf. If you go
Houston
to
Open.
Houston Open was this past weekend. It was gorgeous weather. What a tournament Houston put on. Congratulations to them. Tiger Woods is walking, but he has a limp still. They caught him in LA walking into an event. Still looks like he has a noticeable limp. So just something to keep an eye on. I told you he has his tournament coming up next month that either he should make an appearance at or be at. I don't think he's going to play, but the Hero Golf Tournament is this next month, which he rarely misses. So it'll be interesting if he makes an appearance there. I can't wait.
Okay. Where does that take place?
I'll have to look up. It's the Hero Challenge.
Okay, no worries. No worries.
Month.
We can get into some NFL brought to you by Construction Concepts.
Let's do it. NFL time. As we know, yesterday was crazy. Let's talk about it. Construction Concepts is changing corporate culture one design at a time. From hospitality to corporate luxury retail and medical facilities, their team of experts can update or create a space that exceeds your expectations. Give them a call, 713-589-2682. That's buildithouston.com. And they are expanding. They are all over Texas now. They've got a few projects in Austin now. So no matter where you are, give them a call. They build stuff.
The Hero tournament is in the Bahamas.
Yes,
from what I'm seeing. Oh, my goodness.
Ooh.
I would love to be there. All right. Let's get into some of the crazy games that took place yesterday before we jump into tonight's Monday Night Football. Okay, what is going on in Tampa Bay, or should I say Washington football team? 29-19, Washington over the Bucks, and Tom Brady, 2 interceptions. You look at his other numbers, okay, 23 of 34, good, 220 yards, good, 2 touchdowns, good, but 2 interceptions. What is this Tom Brady that we're seeing this year?
I loved him sitting on the sideline, just sort of with his hat on, like he didn't care. The most, Tampa's got a little bit of issues. Their offense is out of sync. They are. Gronk is not on the field. Antonio Brown's not on the field. Granted,
Gronk was injured, right? And so was AB.
Yeah,
so, they were both injured this week.
They should still be good with Godwin, Mike Evans. They've got serviceable players. I mean, Washington just put on a performance. They held the ball. The last drive, which only left 40 seconds on the clock, was 10 and a half minutes.
Wow.
That's insane. That's almost a full quarter in one drive. It was the most impressive drive I've seen in a very long time, because we all know, don't give Brady 45. Don't give him a minute. Don't give him anything. And they kept the ball for 10 and a half minutes on the final drive in the fourth quarter.
Clock management.
Yeah, it was very impressive.
At its best.
Very impressive. I don't expect them to keep that up throughout the season, but by far the best win for them.
I was going to say, is this bigger for Washington? Were they the better team here, or is this bigger for the Bucks and Tom Brady?
No, I think it's bigger for Washington. It's a good boost for them, because of the fact they beat, obviously Tom Brady and Heineke, who's been playing suspect as of late. They had a couple of good wins when he first came on at the beginning of the season, but they've been suspect as of late. In fact, they lost 4 in a row to Saints, Chiefs, Packers, Broncos, and then beat the Bucks. They got the Panthers next week, and we'll get into that whole story here in a minute. But I wouldn't read too much into this game. It's just sort of how the NFL season's been going.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
It is.
Teams that you think are just, going to run over other teams, they don't. You got what's bigger, this or the Jaguars beating the Bills?
Oh, my goodness. And then you have other storylines, too. The Dolphins, well, not really the Dolphins over the Texans, but I will say this next one, winning by 40 points, Cowboys over the Atlanta Falcons, 43-3 in Jerry's world. Super happy Jerry Jones. But, man, that does not happen in the NFL. 40 points. And Dan Quinn getting the game ball because it was his former team that he took to the Super Bowl.
First time ever.
Back when.
First time ever a head coach of a Super Bowl team has lost to or beat his previous team that he took to the Super Bowl.
Dak is back. The team bounced back. I kind of said it last week was a fluke. It's kind of one that you brush off your shoulders. I think the team was going to be back in CeeDee Lamb. All these guys were clicking. Their defense looked spectacular. Everything was just working in Dallas for these guys. And I really do think they're on the road to
say it. Because I
No.
the playoffs.
Thank you. And Dallas has a problem. It took me a while to figure out why they had a problem, but they have a problem. And the problem is they're playing very good on a very, very easy schedule. I'm sorry,
you
Kevin.
keep saying that, but
man,
you got to give them some credit.
They have, one of these days I will. They have one of the easiest schedules left in the NFL, and after last year they had a brutal schedule. I understand that, but
you know who talks
Chargers,
like that?
Eagles, Panthers, Giants. The Patriots game was overtime. Vikings.
Hey, now you got the Panthers with I'm back.
After next
Cam
week,
Newton.
They got the Chiefs game. We'll get into the Chiefs in a second, but after the Chiefs, they've got Raiders, Saints. Trevor Siemian, Heineke. Just the quarterbacks alone. Heineke, Trevor Siemian, Daniel Jones, Heineke. We don't know about the Cardinals. They've got a cakewalk schedule. Cakewalk schedule coming up. Here's the problem that Dallas has.
Okay.
If they have no excuses anymore. If they lose the first or second round, if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, they're trash. Because they can win you. They can beat you with the run. They're good at running. They can come from behind, Dak Prescott and those wide receivers. And apparently they've got a pretty decent defense now. So what's their excuse for losing in the first round of the playoffs?
So you're only proving
you better not lose in the first round of the playoffs.
So you're only proving my point that they're a good team.
Yeah,
They're like, they have this, they have this, they have this. Oh, that means they're kind of a good team. Let me let you in on a little secret. Anybody who says, oh, this is the reason why they're – no.
They are.
You got to give them credit. It's just because that you're not a fan of them.
No, look, I just said
you gotta acknowledge what is
obviously
good.
They're in a
football.
They're in a terrible division. They're like
take out your likeness.
That's what I just said. It took me a while to find something wrong with them, but they're gonna make the playoffs. We know that. Dallas is gonna make the playoffs. If they lose in the first round, though, oh my goodness! You're talking about that's gonna be their issue because right now.
Let's get there
they're getting a lot of hype, but if they lose in the first round, which we all see the NFC, whoa, that division, that whole conference is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to get to the playoffs. Now, who they face and where they face them is going to be really, really important.
Now, talk about a team that it's easy to find what's wrong with them. The Lions versus the Steelers. You were saying it's hard to find what's wrong with the Cowboys. What's wrong with the Lions? Just about everything.
Yeah.
So this ended in a draw, 16-16 in overtime, in which both teams got the ball. Neither of them scored, so that's how it works in the NFL. And I said it earlier. I was really hoping that Detroit would pull it out.
Both teams got the ball twice. There was 2 fumbles and an interception. It was ridiculous. Nobody could kick a field goal. And,
you see overtime after overtime in college football. Well, can't do it here.
This isn't the Pittsburgh Steelers' fault. Look, Ben Roethlisberger on Saturday was put on the COVID-19 list. So they had their backup quarterback come in and play.
Rudolph.
Yeah, who we all know is not best friends with the Cleveland Browns. But I digress.
Yeah, slap with the helmet. I hate that.
Kyle Rudolph came in and was serviceable. They got a tie out of it, and this is the only Detroit win. I mean, you know what's crazy? If the Detroit Lions can now go 16-0 and not 17-0. Or 0-16 and not 0-17. That's just insane, and they probably will. If they won't have a perfect losing record because they'll have one tie. But Detroit Lions. Is this a victory? I think it's a victory
for the Lions.
For the Lions, a moral victory.
Yeah, it's not a loss.
No one believes in moral victories.
I think this is a victory for the Lions.
Yeah.
Way to go, Lions! I'm gonna wear my Lions jersey next week.
All right. Do you have one?
No, I don't.
About to say what?
Somebody send me a Detroit jersey. I'll wear it.
Grew up in Dallas, but then
player?
Memphis at the same time. Houston. How do you have a Lions jersey?
What player would I wear?
Golf.
I mean Barry Sanders. I'm talking current player on Detroit.
Golf.
Golf. I wouldn't wear a golf jersey. No. I like Swift. Maybe somebody send me a Swift jersey. I'll wear Swift. I like his last name.
Okay.
Ashley would pick him on fantasy because of his last name.
Do you like Taylor Swift?
I do like Taylor Swift.
Okay.
I just admitted that on there.
Oh, I
Swift.
Enrique.
Yeah, I don't either. I used to. Can't say it now.
She got some jams.
All right.
Don't lie. You all listen to it with your windows rolled up. I know y'all do.
I did.
No, I don't.
Not anymore.
No.
I can't say
I probably could sing 5 or 6 of her songs. I'm not
Enrique, why don't you you're like, no, absolutely not. No.
It's just overrated in my opinion.
I agree.
Too much radio play.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gets to a point where it just gets annoying.
Yeah.
I trade places with her. She was
you wearing. You want to be a girl?
They took a picture of her the other day. She's wearing Yeezys. She always talks trash about Kanye, and she gets out and she's wearing Kanye shoes.
Well, he apologized and everything and all that, and they kind of made up and stuff. But.
It was funny. He went and visited. He was here in Texas, and he went to Corpus Christi to visit the space thing, Elon Musk, and where they shoot off the rockets. He got a VIP tour, and it was just interesting to see Elon Musk and Kanye talking. That's just awkward. I don't want Kanye to have anything to do with the future of human race. Nothing. So it was a funny little picture they got of them.
All right, on to the next one. Okay. So the Patriots absolutely rolled over the Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
I mean, rolled on them, threw them, behind them, you name it, 45-7. Baker Mayfield looked absolutely terrible. He was injured at one point in the game, but this is not the same Cleveland Browns that we saw a week before when they destroyed the Bengals 41-16. So you just wonder, what happened with this Cleveland Browns team? Obviously, OBJ left, but it was better without him on the field anyways. So that's where I just say, what happened with the Browns?
They couldn't run the ball.
And Mac Jones was amazing.
Yeah. The Cleveland Browns.
Amazing.
Baker Mayfield was on pace to throw 35, 40 passes, and we know what happens. We already know what happens when he does that. It's a really bad scenario for Cleveland, and that's what was happening. They could not run the football, but I don't want to take anything away from Bill Belichick and these Patriots. Watch out. I'm telling you, this team is good, and their rookie running back came in and did fantastic. Like, this team is good, and I told you about OBJ, and I wish he would have gone there because I think the system would have fit him really well. He would have been a number one, but, man, they already put up 50 plus before. Now they throw a 45 spot on Cleveland. Like, this team.
Yeah, they put up 54. Like, who was that too? I can't remember, but it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and
I'll tell you
yeah,
right
that
now.
was a good one as well. I mean, Mac Jones
On the Jets, 54-13. They just beat the Chargers. Yeah. They're on a 4-game. They won 5 of their last 6 games.
Still a lot to put up in an NFL
They won
game.
5 of their last 6 games. Their only loss was to the Cowboys in an overtime thriller game.
Mm-hmm.
So they should have won 6 straight games. They got the Falcons. Their schedule gets rough, though. Falcons, Titans, Bills, Colts, Bills. So we're going to see really what they're made of. If they come out of that 3-3 or 2-3, it would be absolutely impressive. New England Patriots are a good football team. I would watch out for them this year, especially to maybe upset somebody in the first round of the playoffs. But for sure, next year when Mac Jones gets a year under his belt with that system, oh, man.
I mean, it already looks like he's been there a year. That's how well he's playing.
The comparisons to Tom Brady they're spot on. Like, they really are. The way he stays in the pocket, the way he throws his ball. And everybody thought Bill Belichick and the Patriots were going to lose a ton of games this year.
Well, can we just, rewind to last year when Cam Newton was under center for him?
Yeah.
And we were just like, okay, no, this is totally a Brady thing. Brady was why they had success. Well, now we're starting to see success with Mac Jones. So is it on Bill again? That's another topic that comes up.
Yeah, it's the better they get and the more wins they put up, now it's going to be like, especially at Tampa Bay keeps falling with all the offensive weapons that Brady has. And now you have New England kind of teetering. What if they end up playing each other? Fantastic.
Yes.
They don't play each other though, right?
No, they did early in the season, I think.
But that's where you get the question, Brady or Bill. And it's like, okay, well, Brady had a lot of success. Won the Super Bowl last year.
Because Brady made his comeback and they only lost 19-17.
Wow.
All right, and that was only Mac Jones' 3rd game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
he's stepping in those shoes quick and
fourth game.
All the other coaches need to take after Bill and what the offensive coordinator is doing over there in New England and teach it to their rookie quarterbacks because whatever it's clicking, it is working.
Yeah, they're putting together quite the impressive season right now. I would say Belichick Coach of the Year right now.
Let's talk about another not coach, but another quarterback that looks like he is back in his groove after going to the Super Bowl this year in Patrick Mahomes, winning over Las Vegas 41-14. Oh, sorry, Jeff. I didn't even think about you in that situation. Las Vegas Raiders. But, but Mahomes looking good. 337 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Fan, not after all the turmoil over there, dude. I'm out of that bandwagon. Like I jumped off, I tuck and rolled, I'm out. Like, see you later.
You just can't do that, though.
No, that bandwagon was going fast, and I jumped off in the middle of the freeway. Screw it, I'm off.
You can't talk about Rhodes and the Raiders.
Yeah,
no.
You can't say anything in the Raiders. Guns, Rhodes,
you don't get
drinking. Yes, I know. That's
oh my God.
Can't talk about anything.
I don't know what y'all are talking about.
All right, on to that.
Never mind.
The Raiders did lose to Patrick Mahomes. Here's the thing with the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, so teams were playing cover 2 on them for the last 4 or 5 games. It was working because Mahomes couldn't hit the deep ball. All they did, and they did it beautifully. I'm going to give them credit for this.
I feel like everybody figured out Kansas City and what they were going to do.
Yeah, exactly. So Kansas City adjusted, to the and the Raiders don't play a cover 2. They tried it last night, and that's not their defensive strategy at all. So what they did was just do dump passes. Kansas City had 240 yards receiving after the catch last night.
Wow.
That's insane. All Mahomes was doing was 7-yard dump passes and cross routes all night long. Because if you back up, what teams were doing was taking away that deep threat to Hill. Deep. And they were running the ball well with Williams.
Hill had it in his hands last night, too. I remember that.
Yeah, he had a bunch. On that long ball.
It came out, yeah.
But they were just doing little dump routes, and 240 yards after the catch last night, bam. I mean, that's insane. That is so many. And so that's what killed the Raiders because they were taking away the long ball and giving them short passes. And Kelsey, Hill, and Damian Williams even on these little dump routes just destroyed the Raiders.
So that worked. And that's what I want to know about Kansas City. we know what they can do. They just showed it tonight. They've showed it in the past. But will it continue? Will we see it for 2 weeks in a row? Next, they have the Cowboys, and then they have Denver Broncos. So I don't think that will be the struggle. Next week is really going to be the test. Is Kansas City Chiefs back? Or are they not?
That's going to be a really fun football game, because you are going to, like right now after this Sunday night game with the Raiders, you're like, oh, Kansas City's back. They're all back. Everybody. Kelsey looks good. Hill looks good. Mahomes looks good. They have confidence. Now you're going up against this Cowboys team that was blown out by the Broncos at home, and now just blew out. Who did they play? Sorry, forgot.
Who?
The Cowboys. They just blew out the Falcons.
Who?
Almost shut out the Falcons. They didn't score a single point second, third, and fourth quarter. So
they only put up 3.
That's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun game. That's probably the game of the week coming up, I would think. And obviously on Thursday, we're going to get into that more heavily, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Okay, I guess today is all about the quarterbacks. We talked about Mac Jones and the Patriots, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now it is time to go to a guy that says, I'm back. Cam Newton. Back when Carolina with the Panthers, and his first 2 drives, he runs in a touchdown, so rushes for 1, and then he throws 1 in, and that's whenever he just went on his tirade of I'm back. They beat the Cardinals 34-10, and that is the spark that Carolina needed.
I don't think so. I don't.
More?
No, I think that Cam.
Well, you're not a Cam fan, but it really did elevate this team and help this team.
He threw the ball like total of 8 yards yesterday. So we don't know about Cam's arm. We have no idea. He ran a 1-yard touchdown and he threw the ball 8 yards. We have no clue what Cam Newton's.
A W is a W, right?
Arizona. I think this is more about Arizona and where they are. Their injuries are piling up, and it's a team that was the last unbeaten team in the NFL, and now they look really beatable. Really beatable. J.J. Watt out for the season. This high ankle sprain with Kyler Murray, and DeAndre Hopkins' hamstring seems to still be lingering. They've got massive questions over there in Arizona. For a team that was favored to go to the Super Bowl, there's a lot of questions over there in Arizona. So I don't think – and the Panthers played inspired football behind Cam Newton. They did, and that's I think what won them the game. Can Cam Newton become a starting quarterback? He's in line to take all the first-round reps this week, and we're going to really see what he's up against next week.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, but you kind of already answered my question. Were you at least impressed with what Cam Newton did?
No.
But you just you answered my question.
He literally threw the ball 8 yards and ran a 1-yard touchdown. So him saying I'm back, that is deep. Now if he would have ran a 35-yard scramble and juked some people, did the Superman, I would have been like, wow, that's impressive. But he ran 1 yard.
Sam Ellinger. That's all I think about when I hear I'm back.
Oh yeah,
Texas.
They got Washington, an inspired Washington football team up next week.
On the road or at home?
They will be at home. Carolina at home against the Washington Redskins. That should be an interesting
Man,
game.
the Washington football team, they're kind of an up and down team too, as well. Even though they did win this week, it was just like they're up and down to me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. That was an absolutely snooze fest. 0-0 Packers over Seattle, and the snow flurries were everywhere. Yes, I granted that. But, man, this was such a boring game. Aaron Rodgers did say that he was happy to be back. He'll never take it for granted again. Or he never takes it for granted being back on the field.
Crying as he went off the field. That's impressive for me. That of all the stuff, that at least he shows some sort of emotion.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy that he was tearing up after the game.
Because it's I picture that Texas has been pretty open, which is where we're located. And it's been open for a very, very long time. But imagine that first time that you actually get to go out to a restaurant even, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never taking this for granted again. I've been eating in my closet, or I've been eating in my house. And so it's Aaron Rodgers finally got to go out and, do what he does best with his guys.
And it was beautiful. It was a cold night. It was snowing. It was a perfect night for football in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And it looked good aesthetically. The game did not. First time Russell Wilson has ever been shut out in his whole career. Now look at the Green Bay Packers, though. This is very
well. I was going to ask you before you go there to the Green Bay Packers, Jeff. As far as Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, do you think his finger played effect into anything?
He says no. I got to think that it did.
Yeah.
He didn't look like he had a lot of velocity on a lot of those throws. Granted, it was cold. He's got a metal rod in there. I don't know how loose and how warm he was, but I think that played a little bit. But man, the Packers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins. They lost to the Chiefs, and then they beat this team, they're playing the Vikings next. Then they have the Rams, Bears, Ravens, Browns, and then the Vikings again. Green Bay is my front runner right now to win the Super Bowl.
What?
Oh. Their defense is stellar. Like
over the Rams?
They only held the Chiefs, or they held the Chiefs to 10 points. 10 points.
Yeah, but we just talked about the Chiefs. You don't know which kind of Chiefs team you're going to get.
A healthy Cardinals team, they only allowed 21 points. 10 points, 14 points, 22, 17. Their defense.
I mean, they're good. They're good. No lie.
They're not getting a lot of credit, but their defense is phenomenal. You got a great defense because usually, I don't want to say Aaron Rodgers blames things on his defense. Like, I couldn't win because of my defense. He's got a great defense this year.
Who was it that did that? Was that the Baker that did that?
I don't know. Probably a bunch of.
I remember last season, one quarterback was trying to blame it on, I think they need to be coached better on defense.
By the way, if y'all aren't getting in on these comments on Facebook, man, y'all jump in there. This stuff is hysterical. I love it. The guys, David,
Merry Christmas.
David, Kevin, all those guys, man, Thomas, all you guys that are in there, man, it's absolutely hysterical. Lottie, appreciate you, man. You got to go up and down these comments. They're great. Now, don't let your kids read them, but we'll get to that later.
You keep asking me to say Cam's last name. Newton. Why?
Newton.
We all say it the same way.
No.
Cameron Newton.
There's a T in there.
Do you say it?
Newton.
You don't say it either?
Yeah.
Newton.
You don't say it either.
Newton.
No one says it. So why am I being called out?
The fans love it. The fans love it. All right, we got to hurry up. We got
All right. One more game, unless you want to go over another one. But one for me is the Titans over the Saints, 23-21. And, the most impressive thing about this Titan team, they now advance to 8-2, and that puts them in first place in the AFC. I wasn't expecting that, especially without Derrick Henry on the ground for the guys. What was most impressive to you? And Alvin Kamara was out for the Saints on the other side of the ball. Mark Ingram, he had a rushing touchdown, 47 yards rushing, and then he got the all-time leading rusher in the second half for the New Orleans Saints. But this Titan team?
Ooh, man. I would have thought that Derrick Henry would have put a bigger hole in their offense, but, man, they look good. The Tennessee Titans are 8-2.
However, how can you say that about Trevor Siemian and the Saints, though? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know about the Saints.
It's like, is it a fair matchup for them to say, oh my gosh, they were great and they won by 2 points?
The Saints defense is pretty good. It's really, really good. I've been saying that all year long. They're well coached, a great defense. So, and the Tennessee Titans, again, don't have Derrick Henry. They just keep winning. They're 8-2. And if you're doing power rankings, they're top 3 or 4 team, like in the power rankings, for sure. And right now, I see them winning the AFC again.
Do you see that, Enrique?
See what?
Do you see Titans be as explosive and dominant as Jeff is saying?
The only team that I see beating them,
no.
There's so New England.
I know they're good, but I don't see them just being amazing.
New England and the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens all share the second best record.
See, I think Buffalo Bills are a better team than them, even though they've had some flukes this season, like we said earlier.
They've got some offensive issues. Now, they played extremely well. They were back to their old form like Kansas City was. Buffalo Bills played extremely well this past Sunday. So, the NFL this year has been fantastic. Like, this is one of the most interesting seasons that I've been involved with in a long time. The storylines are crazy. The records, the upsets are crazy. It's just a wild season. And we got an extra game of this, an extra week. Bring it on.
Jeff and I were on radio all last week, and we were going over the crazy upsets from week 9 that happened, and now week 10's here. But on the way, we had OBJ, Cam Newton, Cam Newton, and then John Gruden suing the NFL, which we haven't even talked about. But yeah, maybe we'll dive into that on Thursday. But just the storylines, to your point, Jeff, are crazy.
Yeah, it's a fun NFL season. Let's go to Monday Night Football. Brought to you by Fitz Roofing at fitzroofing.com. Call Fitz Roofing, making a difference, serving people, driven by our philanthropic commitment to community, focused on building relationships, not just revenue. That's Fitz Roofing, FITZ roofing.com. Corey Fitzgibbons over there. He's absolutely amazing. There he is right there. 832-521-3001. They will replace your shingles.
All right, let's get to the Rams versus the 49ers. Rams are sitting at 7-2 with a loss last week. What is this? Oh, nice. Okay, Here we go. Yeah, I like this.
Play that again.
Let's go. Dun, 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 dun.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's go. All right. I don't know if anyone hears me. Okay, Rams 7-2, while the 49ers are 3-5. I would say, this is going to be easy matchup for the Rams, but they did lose last week 28-16 to the Titans, which we were just discussing. But these teams do face again January 9th. Now let's get into the bigger question.
Yeah.
OBJ contribution.
That's the storyline of this game. That's the storyline. Does Stafford try to feed him the ball too much, and does it cost them a loss? Man, this is why we love the NFL. OBJ in a Rams uniform, and he's going to be running routes. And does it affect Cooper Kupp and the relationship between Cooper? If OBJ can become the identical receiver as Robert Woods, then the Rams will be just fine, because obviously they've been playing pretty good. But the connection between Stafford and OBJ is going to be very, very interesting, how he runs the routes. They've only had a limited time, so I wouldn't base too much on tonight, but I do expect them to win by more than 3 points. Right now, it's only LA minus 3.5. That means Vegas knows something we don't.
Okay, so I'm getting back to the game itself. You mentioned a minute ago, as far as knowing the ball, knowing who to throw the ball to in Cooper Kupp or in Odell Beckham Jr., and that's where you kind of get Kyle Shanahan and D'Amico Ryans, who is the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, saying, okay, how are we going to read this, guys? Obviously, OBJ, this is his first game with the team. We know what Cooper Kupp can do with the connection of Stafford. So if you're on the other side of the ball of the Rams, how are you attacking this game?
I would watch film of what people have done against San Francisco the last 3 games.
No. San Francisco. If you're on San Francisco.
Oh, how are you defending the Rams?
Yeah.
Cover 2?
I'm saying because obviously you haven't seen OBJ in action with these guys ever. Mm-hmm. But you know Matthew Stafford to Cooper Kupp is going to be for sure happening throughout tonight's game. But it's like, okay, how are you preparing 49ers?
I wouldn't really put too much emphasis on OBJ tonight. You don't want him to catch the ball in short routes and get an open field. That's what OBJ is incredible in the open field. He's great in yards after catch. So if you can limit him to his crossing routes and getting the ball in those 8 to 10 yard crossing, the middle routes, and him not being hit, pop him 1 or 2 good times. OBJ hasn't played in 3 weeks. And Baker Mayfield was the last guy throwing footballs to him, so I can't imagine he's going to be too stellar and ready to go for Matt Stafford's fastball. So pop him a couple of times and see what happens, and make Cooper Kupp beat you. Don't let OBJ get a couple of long ones.
You know what we're doing right here? You know what we're doing, Jeff? We're trying to find ways for the 49ers to defend and to overcome the Rams, because we know the Rams are going to win. We know that they are the better team all around.
Man,
we're trying to find ways to say, okay, this is what you got to do to the Rams. This is what you got to do to the Rams. Okay, well, that shows, I think we know the Rams are probably going to win this one.
Let's do it this way then. All right, Enrique, it's time for Who You Got. San Francisco Rams are at home. San Francisco 49ers are at home against the Los Angeles Rams. Who you got? Minus 3.5 with the Rams or plus 3.5 with San Francisco?
I'm taking the Rams on this one.
All right.
Enrique
got the Rams.
I've definitely got the Rams. And it's too close of a game to say, taking 49ers with the points, even though the Rams are going to win. No, it's too close. I'm going with the Rams.
I'm taking the 49ers plus the 3.5 points.
He likes to take the dog.
Well, the NFL's been crazy. Jimmy G. I think he's back on track after being hurt. So as long as he stays healthy and their run game is back, the San Francisco's have their running backs back. So this is going to be a fun game to watch, man. I can't wait. But we got to thank some people before we get out of here. I have got to get to a book fair.
Yes, you do.
Son.
Yep.
Fitz Roofing. Give him a call. Fitz Roofing. Go to fitzroofing.com. Insurance claim, paying cash, credit, whatever. Fitz Roofing is the bomb. Those guys will take care of you over there. Give them a ring.
All right. Hybrid Technologies Group. Give Roy Stanton a call. He'll hook you up with phones, cable services, surveillance cameras, and cloud services. Give him a call, Roy Stanton. And we got to thank VYPE Media and VYPE.com. Check out all of your high school sports news, scores, anything you need to know. Definitely subscribe to VYPE.com and VYPE Media.
All right. Construction Concepts. They build stuff, man, everywhere.
All right. We are SWB on VYPE. With VYPE.
David Carrier, Smarter Mortgage. He has a pocket load of money. Give him a call. Refinancing, purchasing your home. He will lower your payments or get you the payment that you need. All right, man. San Francisco tonight.
All right.
We'll see you guys.
Rams.
We'll see you guys Thursday and tell y'all what happened. Tell you all about it, man.
Have a good one.